The opinions expressed are those of the show's host and not the staff or management of Port St. Lucie Broadcasters. Any reproduction without written consent of WSTU and WPSL is strictly prohibited. Now it's time for Quality of Life Radio, brought to you by Cigna and Aetna Medicare. Here are your hosts, Gary Owen and Tom Bouvier.
Hello and good morning, everybody. Thank you for tuning in on this extraordinary Tuesday morning. It is November 21st, 2023, 3 days away from Thanksgiving. I got to tell you, man, I am so thankful for so many things, Tom. I am thankful, number one, that I have a great co-host, the Boov, Tom the Boov Bouvier. Very thankful for him. I'm thankful for Iggy, who comes here every single Tuesday morning and supports us here with the video and content, so we appreciate him. And I appreciate all of you this morning for tuning in and listening, so we thank you for joining us on the world-famous Quality of Life radio show. I'm your host, Gary Owen. I'm the president here at Owen Insurance Group.
And I'm your thankful co-host, Tom Bouvier, and I thank you, Gary, for all of that you do here at Owen Insurance Group and for hosting this wonderful show, because we really do help people on this show. And
this
the
is our
information
mission.
we provide is
our passion, Tom.
It's our passion. It's our mission. Even our mission statement is to simplify insurance planning so that you can live a stress-free life.
And that's what we're all about, helping you to make the right decisions, be your guide, so you can make an informed decision. We've got some great information to share with you today. But first, before we get there, I just want to say thanks for all of you who are tuning in via Facebook on WSTU 1450 AM and WPSL 1590 AM. And for those of you who are tuning in from one of the 45, 47 countries
and growing
around the world on Alexa Tune In. So we appreciate all of you that are tuning in, that are watching, that are listening to us this morning. And Tom, we're here, as you said, every Tuesday morning because why?
Why?
Because we're thankful.
Yes, and we don't like to just hear ourselves talk, but we do bring relevant content to our listeners. This is information that can really be helpful for you. It can determine having a really good insurance policy or having one that's not good. And as simple as that, we love to bring information. We present information that'll help you choose a particular plan that would be good for you regarding health insurance. We cover all the pitfalls to avoid. We bring transparency and good old-fashioned straight talk. We call this the no plop zone because we're going to tell you straight and tell you exactly like it is and give you our opinion. And we deal in what's called a fiduciary manner. We're only going to recommend and show what's best for you. So on this show, we do bring these things to
That's
you.
amazing that we take that extra step to act in a fiduciary manner because many of our competitors don't do that. Number one, they don't know how to do that. Number two, if they're captive or career agents, they're incapable of doing that. Here at Own Insurance Group, we are independent. We're an independent agency. We represent you, the Medicare beneficiary, the consumer. And so we can represent you and help be your guide through the complexities of the Medicare insurance planning. We're going to talk about that today, in fact. Tom, you hit it just a little bit ago about the pitfalls to avoid. Mm-hmm. So on this show, because we have less than 3 weeks left of the Medicare annual enrollment period, the Medicare AEP is from October 15 through December the 7th. And so in that 7-week period, you have to make a change to your current plan if you're on a Medicare Advantage plan or if you're on a standalone Part D plan. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, but we want to drill down because Tom and I see it every day. We got clients that come in here and we scratch our heads and ask, my Lord, why are you on this plan? Or why didn't you do this? Or why are you doing this and not doing this? And because they've got some bad advice. Or they try to take the road alone and do it by themselves. And we always recommend never take the road alone. Don't do it. Why do it? Because you have a resource here in your backyard, here in the state of Florida, that we can support you, be your guide, give you counsel, give you recommendations so you can make an informed decision about your health care, and that is the most important thing. Before we get started, we're going to read the quote of the day today. So, Tom, let's talk about a little bit of good.
Sure.
Because I don't think we see a lot of good happening in the world today.
There's a little bit, but not a lot, it seems, especially if you see the news. So many bad things are happening around the world and even in our own backyard. But here's a nice quote. It says, "Do your little bit of good where you are. It's those little bits of good put together that overwhelm the world." So even a small act of kindness can go a long way. You never know what your kind word, your smile, your generosity, your help, your financial assistance, anything you could do, your little bit of good can really change and impact somebody's life.
100%. And it does make a difference in the lives of people when you do a little bit of good. Something so simple, just opening the door for somebody who's on a walker or a lady. I mean, come on, guys and gals. Let's do some good in this world, in our community, because good begets good. And that's what we're trying to do. Here in Martin County, Florida, we want to be better, and character does count.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the pitfalls to avoid. Some topics that we want to approach this morning. Let me back up first. We keep getting feedback from our listeners. Gary, you don't say your phone number enough. So, Tom, what should we tell them? Who should we tell them to call? And what number should they call?
Not Ghostbusters. You want to call Owen Insurance Group at 772-210-1020.
Or you can call 772-210-1020 and get you to the same friendly staff here at Owen Insurance Group. So if you have questions, don't hesitate to call. If you have a question about your plan, you don't want to come in, you don't want to deal with anybody, that's fine. We get it. We understand it. But you should not hesitate to pick up the phone, give us a call. If you have a question, one of our friendly staff members can help you and give you some guidance and give you some counsel. Again, 772-210-1020. You can go to our website at oweninsurancegroup.com, or you can always stop in, not without an appointment, but you can stop in to our local office right here on 1611 Northwest Federal Highway. We're a mile south of the Jensen Beach Mall, 1/2 mile north of the Roosevelt Bridge, right behind Key West Diner, where I had eggs and bacon this morning. So great place for lunch and breakfast.
Not green eggs and ham?
No, not yet. That's tomorrow. So, all right, pitfalls to avoid. Tom, I'm going to take the first one.
Sure.
It's coming off the top of my head because I just talked about it. Never, ever, you should never, ever choose to work with an agent who represents the carrier or a carrier, right? You should always seek out and find an independent agent that will represent your personal interest and your best interest, because the career agent or the captive agent will represent that one carrier, or maybe one or two carriers, or a handful of carriers, as opposed to an independent agent, an agency like Owen Insurance Group, where we represent you and we can seek out and find out what plan is best for you based on your needs, based on your formulary, based on your doctors. And again, so that's number one. The biggest pitfall to avoid is not seeking out an independent agent. Tom, what would you say another pitfall would be?
Yes, calling the 800 numbers that are bombarding you.
The TV. Oh, my God, yes.
For Medicare.
Good one.
It baffles my mind to think that so many people would trust somebody that they don't know. They pick up this 800 number. They call someone.
Horrible.
They could be anywhere across the country. One thing you don't know about that person on the other line is they're going to say that they're a licensed agent, and most likely they are, but they could have just got out of insurance school. They could have just gotten through the 3 or 4 week class on Medicare, and they're still wondering, still trying to figure out Medicare A from Part B, and still don't know the difference between Medicare Supplement and Medicare Advantage. And many of those 800 numbers, those agents are only appointed, as you were just saying, with maybe just one company. Just you call that one that for the one particular carrier. They're only going to offer you one or two plans with that same company.
And Tom, you speak from experience.
I speak from experience. I did a few years as a telesales agent. I was licensed in all 50 states, but I only represented one company. And what we were trained to say is that, okay, for a Medicare Advantage plan, it's a PPO, you can go anywhere, you can without a referral, it's just as good as a supplement. So there's so many half-truths that these agents are actually learning in their class because these companies want to try to fit a square peg in the round hole when finding a local agent, as you said, with independent broker who represents the majority, if not all, the carriers, and represents you, is the thing. So,
and there is not a one-size-fits-all shoe, right?
Yes.
So Cinderella can fit into a little size 5 shoe, all right? So my friends, most of you out there cannot fit into a size 5 shoe. So there are many sizes of shoes out there. So again, just like there are Medicare plans, you've got to make sure that you work with the right agency, the right agent, that's going to have your best interest in mind. So that's a great one, not calling the 800 number.
Don't call those 800 numbers, please.
Don't. Where you shall be reckoned with. All right, number 3, I would say, Tom, since we're in the middle of Medicare AEP, the annual enrollment period, I think another pitfall to avoid is to not picking up the phone, calling Owen Insurance Group to get a complimentary free review done.
That's right.
So if you're on a Medicare supplement plan, you don't need to do anything if you're on a supplement plan. That long as you pay those premiums, that plan is yours for the rest of your life. I'd never recommend, usually 99 times out of 100, never recommend you giving up a Medicare supplement plan. But if you're on a Medicare Advantage plan where you're on a standalone PDP or drug plan, you need to have a drug or a Medicare review done because the plans change yearly, benefits change, the formularies change, and the networks can change. Very, very, very important that you have a review done. Why not, people? It doesn't cost a dime. Why not work with the professionals here at Owen Insurance Group, take you by the hand, give you some guidance. And if you're on the best plan, I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to tell you, stay right where you are. And we have done that many, many times during this annual enrollment period. In fact, the majority of our clients that have been coming in and new prospective clients, we'll just tell them, listen, you've got the best plan there is. Stay right where you are at and do not let anyone talk you out of that plan. Tom, what's next?
Perfect. And Gary, if I could just briefly fill in one thing. In those annual reviews, we're able to look at the whole picture because you may have a Medicare Advantage plan and you may not realize that going into the hospital is going to cost you $305 a day for 7 days or something like that.
Oh, good point.
And so there are gaps in or exposures, gaps, and think, wow, what would happen if you went in the hospital for 7 days? That's over $2,100. For some of you, it's not a problem, financially speaking. Others, that's a big deal. We have other financial products that may be able to fill in the gap. Hospital indemnity plans, and of course additional dental and vision plans. So that annual review that Gary was just talking about can help fill in any gaps and have a second set of eyes or your entire insurance exposure.
Yeah. Very good point.
And another pitfall to avoid, it's very, very common. It's not understanding the difference between a Medicare supplement and a Medicare Advantage. Because people will say, oh, I've got a supplement. I've got Medicare and I've got a supplement. I've got that HMO or I've got that PPO. And so some of you saying, what's wrong with that? Well, that's the point. If you have a Medicare supplement, you have Medicare as your health insurance and a supplement helps pay what Medicare does not pay. If you have a Medicare Advantage, that basically replaces your Medicare card and all your benefits flow through that. And why is it a problem? Because many times you think, wow, I'm on a Medicare Advantage and I can switch to a Medicare supplement anytime. That's another pitfall to avoid. People don't realize that there are rules surrounding switching back and forth between a Medicare supplement to a Medicare Advantage,
Right.
from a Medicare Advantage back to a supplement, not understanding the rules, it could potentially be life-threatening by not knowing that information. We educate people. We're not salespeople. We educate, we instruct, we hold your hand, so to speak, and lead you to find a plan that's best suited for you.
And I'm going to piggyback on what you said and add one of the pitfalls that potentially you should avoid. We always incorporate the trial right period, right? So Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement each have their own unique and distinct trial right periods. So one of the strategies that we employ here at Own Insurance Group with our clients is if you're on the fence about choosing whether to go on a supplement or an Advantage plan when you first turn 65, you're aging into Medicare, now what are you going to do? We recommend, hey, if you're healthy, go ahead and give that Medicare Advantage plan a test drive. You have up to 12 months in your trial right to be on a Medicare Advantage plan. But before you turn 66, you got to get off that plan, go back to original Medicare, and then pick up a supplement plan. But the trick here with this is that there are no health questions. So it's guaranteed issue. And that's the Medicare Advantage trial right period. And Medicare Supplement also has a trial right period. But if you want more information, all you have to do is pick up the phone and call us at 772-210-1020. I know it's complicated. It's convoluted. It's a bloody maze. People don't understand it. That's why you should come to the professionals. Yesterday, I had a couple who were in their young 70s, early 70s, and they're on their group plan, and they're like, man, we feel like we're getting raped here on the premiums, and they keep going up year after year, and maybe we need to talk to you about going on Medicare. Does it make sense for us to go on Medicare? And usually it does. So in this case, they have the health plan. They have a group plan. They have a deductible each of $5,000. They have a max amount of pocket that's $9,000 each, or $18,000 for the family, and they're paying $1,100 a month for this bloody plan. So I was and they are high income earners. So they, even with IRMA, the income related monthly adjustment amount added to their base Part B premium, we were able to get them a Plan G, a Medicare supplement plan, where the annual deductible is only $240. Ooh. So for the same price, they get a better plan, no networks, get a Medicare supplement plan, and have a $240 deductible. They were jumping in their seats for joy. So they decided, okay, Gary, we're going to go ahead and move forward. So we helped them with their 40B application for both of them. We did the L564 application to prove they had credible coverage to avoid the late enrollment penalty. We are superheroes. Woo-hoo. This is what we do. Tom, what's next?
Absolutely. So another pitfall to avoid is, and I've seen people do this, and I've had now a client as of 2 weeks ago who got off of this mistake, and that is just keeping original Medicare, but not picking up a Medicare supplement or not going with a Medicare Advantage. So in other words, all they had was original Medicare. All they had was their Medicare card, Medicare Part A and Part B. And this gentleman, God bless him, he's 74 years old. He's been on Medicare since age 65. He never got a supplement, never got a Medicare Advantage. All he had was original Medicare. Wow. And I don't think he did have a drug plan. He did have a Part D prescription drug plan, which that would be another pitfall to avoid, is not enrolling in Medicare Part D when you don't have credible coverage. And so I was able to put him on a Medicare supplement, and to your point earlier, he was not in his guaranteed issue window of time where there would be no medical question to ask. I had to ask him 10 questions. Thankfully, he said no to all of them, but even more important, he was telling me the truth, meaning he did not have these particular health situations, and he got approved for his Medicare supplement. So a pitfall to avoid is when you're going on Medicare, just sitting there doing nothing and just having Medicare alone as your health insurance, because that leaves you open to so much financial risk if you had some major health issues.
That's absolutely right. And Tom, you just wrote a Medicare supplement to a client who found you from North Carolina.
That's right.
So even though we're licensed here as resident license in the state of Florida, we have non-resident licenses throughout the rest of the country. So we're licensed in about 45 other states. In fact, I'm going to be working with a client today from California and helping her to enroll in a Medicare supplement plan out in California. So no matter where you are, we can help you. So all you have to do is pick up the phone, give us a call at Owen Insurance Group, 772-210-1020. So, and the pitfall to avoid, you mentioned about the Medicare supplement. I want to tell you, there are, in the state of Florida now, let's talk specifically about the state of Florida. There are roughly 30 Medicare supplement insurance carriers in the state of Florida vying for your business. Tom, how many times have we seen clients try to do it on their own, pick up their own plan? Let's say they want to go with Plan N or Plan G, which are the two most popular plans for Medicare supplement today. You really shouldn't have to look at anything else. Or maybe the third popular plan is a high deductible G.
Right.
But those are the only three plans, a Medicare supplement that we recommend. Don't look at anything else, but I digress. Do not ever choose a plan based on who has the lowest premium. Because if you live by price, my friends, you die by price. And so we have seen so many times where a consumer will go on a Medicare supplement plan with a certain carrier, brand X, and that carrier has been in the state of Florida less than 5 years, because there's a lot of, I would say half of the 30 carriers that are here in the state of Florida have less than 5 years of experience in the Medicare supplement space. What does that mean to you? That means that client doesn't have claims experience. That means that when the claims come in, there's only 100. Remember, there are only 100 pennies to a dollar. That insurance carrier is going to collect those 100 pennies from you. Now, a year or two later, those claims start coming in. Now they're paying out 135 pennies.
Price increase.
Yeah, what happens? Now you're going to have a price increase. So now after 2 or 3 years, you're like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. 3 years in a row of double-digit rate increases. I'm going to switch to a different carrier. Whoa, pump the brakes, because now you have to answer the health underwriting questions. And so if you have a pre-existing condition, you will most likely get denied, and you'll be stuck in that plan. And we had a client that was in Tampa, Tom, that was on a Plan G with another brand, we're not going to mention company names here, but he was 78 years old and paying roughly $685 a month for his plan, whereas if he went with a different carrier, that premium would be around less than $300. Wow. So again, be careful of the carriers. Again, we know we have the 16 years of experience that I have, and Tom has an additional 3,000 years of experience, that we can provide you that information so you can make an informed decision. Tom, do you have any other pitfalls to avoid?
You know, Gary, nothing specific, except, you owe it to yourself to know what you currently have. And that, I guess, would be a pitfall, not knowing exactly what you have, because so many people will come in here and they will say, well, I have this and this.
Right.
And I do my research, and there is information I can find out. I was like, well, actually, no, you have this. And they say, oh,
what?
Oops. And
what?
They say, well, I thought I had this, but they really don't. So not knowing what you have, not knowing what you potentially can need or in the foreseeable future in case something happened, and not knowing what's good coverage. I mean, that's why we're here.
And also, for those of you that are saying, you know what, Gary and Tom, I don't need a drug plan. I want to choose the cheapest drug plan there is. I'm here to tell you that because of the Inflation Reduction Act, it had unintended consequences. And one of those consequences is rate increases on the drug plans. So we know that the Biden administration is going to hold, and this is a good thing, hold some of the drug manufacturers their feet to the fire and bring the cost down, because in the United States of America today, drug costs are more expensive here in the United States than they are anywhere else in the world. it's ridiculous. So that part I agree with of the Inflation Reduction Act. Now, there is one. So all the plans, all the carriers have had a 50 to 100% rate increase on their drug plans. There's one carrier that actually lowered their premiums to zero.
What?
So again, all we're saying here today is you do have options. You do have choices. You owe it to yourself to get it right the first time, because the decisions you make today can last you a lifetime. And count on the professionals to be here with you, to be by your side, to be your guide. We will take you every step of the way. We will educate you, and we are going to only recommend those plans, those solutions, those choices that are going to be most best suited for you, because at the end of the day, your quality of life and your quality of health is more important than anything else in this world. So we've got to get it right. So with that being said, I know that we are out of time. I want to wish everybody here a very, very happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy it with your family. Be thankful for your family if you get along with your family. But we're thankful for all of you. We appreciate you tuning in. Hey, stay tuned, because coming up next is the Brian Kilmeade Show, and we want you to share us with your friends, your family, your neighbors. And remember, stay safe, keep healthy, be happy, and enjoy your quality of life.